Let's go!
Hey gang, it's Maria here from hockeytrainingpro.com and ultimategoalietraining.com, and I had a great question from Trevor, and he was in my blog post earlier this week. I had top 10 websites that I check out on a regular basis, and some of them were hockey training and some of them weren't, but he headed over to my friend Kevin Neald's site at kevinneald.com. He's a great hockey training guy. We're kind of kindred spirits. We have a real passion for the science of training. He doesn't just put up gimmicks. He thinks about it. He evaluates it. He reads the research. He's got great stuff. And he had put up a post that was something like 5 stretches that every hockey player should do after practice or after a game. So Trevor emailed me, and thanks a lot, because this is how I get a lot of the ideas for my blog posts, and I always want to be giving the information that you guys want to know and what you want to learn about, so that really helps me target it. But he said, hey, is there something like that for goalies that you could post, or should goalies just do the exact same stretches that Kevin had posted? And I think Kevin's stretches are great. I'm going to give you a few other ones that might be a little bit more specific to goalies, but certainly I don't think you can go wrong with his stuff either. What I'm trying to do here, I'm not trying to improve your flexibility for playing goal per se. What I'm trying to do, thinking that this is going to happen after practice and after games, is take a more restorative approach, help you recover a little bit quicker. So I'm going to look at the muscle groups that have been sitting under tension or sitting in a shortened position for prolonged periods of time and give them a little stretch out to help them come back to their nice resting length, help take some of the tension out of them, relax, flush out, so that you can maybe recover a little bit quicker for either your next training session or your next practice or your next game. So here are 5 that I think are really worthwhile doing immediately after practice or games. When you're in your ready stance, it is your glutes and your hamstrings a lot that are under tension, sort of holding you in that position. Your low back also will be maintaining keeping your chest in an upright position. So thinking that they're going to be under chronic tension, not to mention the fact that you're using your glutes for your lateral movements, I want to stretch those out. So I'm going to do a pretzel stretch. Maybe I'll aim this way. And it might be a little bit different than what you normally do. I'm going to grab this foot here and grab this foot here. And then I'm using this knee to just pull up toward my chest. And I really feel a stretch here. So let me just show you from a slightly different angle. If I'm here, I grab here, and then I just relax like that, and then feeling a really nice stretch there. Then also think about your hip flexors. Again, when you're in your ready position, they're in a shortened position. Your arms are down, they're not up over your head all that much. So we're going to take you into a nice little hip flexor stretch, keeping your torso in a neutral position, so I'm not coming way forward and extending my back. I'm staying neutral. And then I'm going to reach straight up to the ceiling and just a little bit over, so that my hand is basically right above my head, and I feel a nice stretch. So I come in, I get my hip flexor on a stretch. I'm going to add in a reach, which will put my lats on a bit of a stretch and get that nice chain there. Your arm has to be straight. If it's kind of bent like this, you're not putting that chain on tension. Again, I'm going to want to get my quadricep hip flexor as well. So I'll come from the same position, but this time I'll bring my heel to my rear end, feeling a nice stretch in the front of my thigh. Then your groins, you're going to be probably stretching them into some pretty extreme ranges of motion with some of your saves. But even then, just being on the ice, putting pressure on the inside edge of your blade, you're always going to have those muscles in a bit of a shortened position under tension. So here's one that you can do. I want to stretch them out, but again, I want it to be restorative for them. So I don't want to stretch them by putting them under tension or under resistance like we do sometimes in our flexibility training. I really want them to relax. So I'm just going to get my butt up near the wall, and I'm just going to come out nice and wide, and I can kind of creep my feet a little wider apart, but I'm just going to relax and get a nice stretch in there. The last exercise we're going to do is a little extension relaxation for your back, because again, in that ready position, there's a lot of stress on the extensors of your spine. They're kind of in a shortened position, but even more so, I'm thinking some of you will fatigue and get a little bit into this rounded back position, which actually puts some pressure on the discs in your low back. And so we don't want to jam them, sort of jam into extension to try and, get them back in position. We just want to give a little gentle extension stretch. So I'm just making two fists, putting one on top of the other, and resting my chin on there. And I'll just hold that for 30 to 60 seconds. It's as simple as that. It's not sort of an aggressive type of movement. It's just a nice little relaxation. And try to just relax your body the best you can. So that one you'll hold for 30 to 60 seconds. The groin stretch, hold for 30 to 60 seconds. These ones can be 30 seconds on each side, as can the pretzel stretch, that first one that I showed you, 30 seconds on each side. So I know that you may have some other stretches that you like to do after a practice or a game, and that's great. I'm not saying you need to change those. These are just some restorative stretches that you might want to use at that particular time. I hope it helps. It was a great question. Thanks. Please keep them coming.
Let's go!